How you doing, everybody? My name is Henry McDaniel, and I'd like to welcome you to the Mac Garage. Today is a very special episode. We got my main man right here, Rexsell Hardy. This is one of my biggest influences, and he happens to be my cousin. So, it's an exciting episode for me, And if you don't know him, you can catch him with Mary J. Blige and American Idol. He's one of the best, one of the greats, and he's gonna hang and talk a little bit with us today. So, how you doing today, man?
Man, I'm good. Blessed to be out here working, trying to stay relevant. You know how it goes.
Trying to stay relevant. Humble.
Come on.
Yeah, man. But, dog, so I wanted to talk to you about kind of just, because everybody that comes in here, they're drummers for major artists, but you're actually a musical director. So I wanted to get a perspective from that point, just being a musical director, being in charge of, pretty much what everybody's doing.
I think it was, you've known me well. You've known me since you've been born.
Pretty much.
Yeah, but it's one of them things I've always dreamed about doing, you know what I'm saying? Just far as, being a music director, especially, I can only speak from a drummer's perspective. Right. It can be a gift and a curse at the same time. Because sometimes if you don't have the mind frame to kind of dial it back a notch, nobody can tell you what to play because you're the music director, right, unless the artist says something. Yeah. But with that being said, it really pulled me back into really paying attention to detail as far as the artist, what the song is about, each instrument. So it's like I would have to sit there and learn everybody's parts. Everybody, even though I'm not a great keyboard player, like I play enough to do tracks or whatever, or program, but it opened up my ears. Yeah. Pretty much is what it did, and you just learn how to move through, right, and make sure the artist is happy. Yeah, because that's really what matters at the end of the day.
Definitely, man. And you said so, like when you're in that atmosphere, trying to dial it down, and not just can't nobody tell you nothing type of vibe. Like, how do you work in that team atmosphere? Like, when you're creating or putting the show together, like, how much input do you take from other people, and in that type of situation?
Well, my position, like, what I do is, mentally for me, I'm the last person to put my stamp on the music. So when we rehearsing, whether it's a month of rehearsals, a month and a half, whatever the case may be, by me programming the show, I usually focus on everything else. I think about what I'm going to play, but I try to just focus on each individual part. That way I know what I want to hear once I sit down. Yeah. But far as the band, usually when I'm the music director, it's usually guys that I've handpicked. Yeah. So I know what they're capable of doing, because when you're in when you're the music director, sometimes you have to walk over here and talk to the artist, but the band still has to be working on something. So you gotta have guys in place, or women, whatever you choose, you have to have those people in place so they're still available mentally to contribute when you aren't there. Because sometimes I'm mentally not with the band, because this artist told me, I want this, then they'll change it on the fly. I'd be like, oh, God, okay.
Trust me, I already know, man.
Yeah, so
we deal with the same type of stuff in our situation.
I already know, yeah.
So for you, dealing with last minute changes and dealing with, just, kind of uncertainty from the artist, maybe, how do you handle that? Do you have a system that you have as far as getting things done, or it's just you just scrambling? What is that like?
No, the first thing I try to do is relax. Yeah. Because I'll give you a prime example. Mary J. Blige, that's what most people know me from. Right. So we had rehearsal for a month or two. I came up with this intro. It was fine. Everything worked out. Yeah. We got to the very first show. The show was on a Friday. Right. She got to rehearsal that Thursday, and she just straight said, she's like, Rex, I hate the intro. I was like, excuse me? Mind you, we had been listening to this intro
for a month.
And her intro, you know how intros go, that pulls the audience in. Yeah, so I was sitting, and the first thing I thought in my mind, she has to be joking. And she was was like, Rex, come out here for a minute. And I was like, oh my God. So while I'm walking out there, I'm, calming myself down, not being mad, but calming myself down so I can like internalize whatever idea she got. So I'm listening to her, but while I'm listening to her, I'm trying to replay what she's telling me on stage.
Right.
So as soon as that happens, I'll be like, okay, well, give me a minute. But this particular time, she stayed there. Because usually I ask her to leave. No, she sat right in the audience. So I got the keyboard player, this guy named Steven Freeman. So I started singing phrases to him.
Right.
And I started working with James, the Pro Tools guy. And we just started kind of rebuilding the intro. I still use some elements from the old intro.
Right.
But she ended up loving it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because the music has to come forth before like the videos and all that.
Yeah.
So if it's not sonically right, so I got it. You know what I'm saying? But the first thing I say is do not freak out.
Right.
The minute you freak out, you done.
Yeah. So it's like basically a situation like that. It takes a lot of patience,
Which I'd never had before.
Right.
Your patience wasn't my virtue.
Yeah.
Basically. But you gotta have patience, or you ain't gonna make it.
Nah, that's a fact.
Yeah.
So me personally, I know the story. Like I said, we're cousins. So growing up, my dad, he always would push me musically, but he always compared everything I was doing to Rex. He's like, man, you gotta be like Rex. When I know one thing about Rex, he used to work hard. He used to be practicing. He ain't go outside. He ain't play, hang with people every day. I'm like, okay, I get it. So for you, like, how was it just you really trying to get to where you were and where you are today? Because I know, like, you got in the game around, what, 18 or?
My first tour was when I was 18.
Yeah, so for you, like, just putting that time in, like, what did that mean to you? And, like, what was just that grind like for you to make it to where you are?
I mean, you know how it goes. It's like you don't really appreciate the grind until you go to the next level.
Right.
So like we may not appreciate the level we was at 4 years ago until now. But when I was coming up, like of course, I came with your father was one of the first people to give me a shot outside the church with a group called Renewed Spirit. I think that's exactly who it was. But before that, your father used to always tell me like, man, you can't play slow songs. Like you can't play, he didn't say ballads, he said slow songs.
Yeah, I already know.
And I was like, what do you mean I can't play slow? I was like, I can play drum, but I am, 15, 16 at the time?
Yeah.
So I'm like, what does he mean? So I started listening to different records. This is like when vinyl was out.
Right.
I'm listening to different records, like, what is this drummer doing? And I'm not, so make a long story short, we ended up doing a concert and we did the song Every Mountain. By Kirk Hart, I think it is. And so we played the song. They recorded it though. Yeah. Like this was one of the first time I played with all my drums mic'd.
Yeah.
And I was hyped.
Good feeling.
Man, so your pops, like he came to church it was like Bible class on the Tuesday. Right. He's like, yo, come to the car. This when he had was it a Tempo? You remember that maroon car? You was born, but you was probably
probably still.
You remember that car he had that used to tick like that all the time?
I don't know, he got a lot of
well, all his cars.
All his cars is messed up.
So I heard him pulling up, he's like, come to the car. And he played the song from the concert. Yeah. He was like, this is what I'm talking about. Like you really played this slow song.
Yeah.
That's when I was like, okay, from that moment on, I knew I couldn't get locked into what I liked. Because, as a drummer, you always want to play either up-tempos or anything make you look cool.
Right.
But from that moment, it kind of changed, and I was just like, whatever door came, I was trying to knock it down. Right. You know what I'm saying? So that was definitely one of the times where I was like, okay, I got to work on something different.
Yeah. So, like you said, every time you reach that next level, you appreciate the grind. Mm-hmm. So, like, what was the first level that you really feel like, okay, I'm starting to really knock down the door I want to knock down?
I think it was a few. I remember one time I was recording with this group that I was trying to, and they turned on a click track.
Yeah.
I didn't really know what a click track was.
Right.
They turned it on. They was like, play to this. It was just like this. And I'm like, where are the rest of the drums? So, needless to say, I couldn't do it. Like, I was struggling.
Right.
So they called another drummer in. He did it. I was like, okay. So from that day, I practiced literally for a year straight every day, Monday through Friday for 3 hours with a click track.
Wow.
Every single day. Because I was like, I'll never be embarrassed like that again. So once I got, it was actually the Mary gig, because before that I was playing with like loops, like with Dave Hollister or Selena Johnson, I think at the time I did. And I did studio stuff with different artists. But Mary and them turned on the click, not her, but they turned on the click on Pro Tools. Right. And I didn't move. Yeah. And they was like, oh my God, like, they was listening back like, he's not moving. Like so that's when I knew, okay, I've done all the right stuff to this, you know what I'm saying, to this point. So that was one milestone. It was like, okay, I'm headed in the right direction for real.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So I know you played with Mary, but when you were doing American Idol, that's a whole different beast. So it's like I already know, you know, just from what you was telling me, you know, in the past. So like that gig, how do you prepare for something like that? Like television, learning hundreds of songs, like what is that experience like?
Man, let me tell you something. That Mary changed my life, but then Idol took my music, like my musical vocabulary, to a whole nother level. Yeah. Because when I got the call from Ray Chew, because a lot of people think, oh man, well, that's Teddy's little brother. Like Teddy didn't even know they called me. Right. I called Teddy and told him they called me because they had went to do the Jay Leno show. Right. Teddy was like, man, hey, you ready for it? Do it. I was like, what? Yeah. Like I already knew how to read music, I just didn't do it on a regular basis. Right. So as soon as I got the call, man, I started like going back into, you know, school basically, like trying to figure out, okay, what's this notation, this rudiment, this and that. And even with all that preparation I did, because we found out maybe 4 or 5 months before the actual start date of Idol. So I just went into school, but outside of reading, is really no way to prepare for that. American Idol was big. Yeah. It was huge. Like, so the only way mentally for me to prepare was for me to know how to read like I used to. Right. And be able to block that song out and move to the next without thinking about anything else. You know what I mean? So I think that was the hardest part, and learning how, once I got on the gig, learning how to internalize what those drummers play on their gigs. Because the way we play country music isn't the way the real country drummers play. Of course. So you have to block out everything, all the licks you think go, and play the ones that you definitely wouldn't play if you, and that's what worked. And I definitely learned that from Teddy, like Oscar, Kahari, like dudes like that. Right. You know, it was like, okay, this is what I need to do to sound authentic, you know, to the music. So that was a big deal. Yeah, you speak about Teddy and Kahari and those guys. Like, who are some of your main influences as far as, you know, whether it be drumming or musically in general? Like, who are some of your biggest influences? I think like once I knew what level I wanted to get to, it's like you start looking to guys in that field. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like that's on that level. Because to look at somebody that's not, you know, in the field you trying to go to, it's like, what's the point? Yeah. But it's like when I saw Teddy, like I think I met Teddy when I was about 15. But once I saw him like do LSG, Gerald Levert, Christina Aguilera, Backstreet Boys, Britney Spears, it was like, wait, that's possible. Right. To come from Chicago. Yeah. So, you know, like Teddy, Oscar Seaton, like Kahari, of course, like when Kahari did Destiny's Child, I was like, wait, what? Yeah. Like, you know what I'm saying? It was just like, oh, wow, okay. And then, of course, you got guys that are not from Chicago, like meeting Nissan Stewart, like that changed my life completely. Right. Like, he's helped me out a lot. Yeah. Gerard Barnes, I don't know if you know, Gerard used to play with Cisco.
Oh wow.
Oh my God.
Wow.
He used to play with Cisco, Drew Hill. He did the Ozzy Brothers. Gerard is a problem.
Yeah.
Gerard. Who else? Brian Fraser Moore.
Right, of course.
He's the pro of pro.
Yeah,
right?
he's the man.
I don't think Brian has been home 2 months in the last 32 years of his life. You know what I'm saying?
Man, like every time you turn around, he's on somebody's.
Oh
tour.
yeah. But him, Lil Jon, like those dudes, Gerald Hayward, like Gerald. First of all, I couldn't even mention none of those other dudes.
Right.
If Gerald didn't do what he did.
Right.
You know, so it's like those dudes, they was all where I wanted to be. I just didn't really know it was possible.
Yeah.
Because we all come from the same place.
Yeah, definitely.
You know what I'm saying? But yeah, those guys, and I mean, there's a lot more, but those are the guys that really, because you got people like Dennis Chambers, Dave Weckl, Vinny, you know, but those guys weren't reachable. Like, I couldn't approach them.
Yeah,
like,
of course.
I couldn't get their number. You know what I'm saying? So
they're in a whole different round.
Oh yeah.
Clinics and a few.
Exactly.
You know.
Yeah. So yeah, those guys changed my life for real.
Yeah. That's what's up, man. So for you, man, you like one of the OGs now, man. You like one of the OGs in the game now. So giving some advice back to people trying to get to this level, like younger dudes and. You know, even people like myself, you know, that's kind of broke in, but trying to, you know, stay here, maintain, and hit that next level. Like, what would your advice be?
I think the first thing I would say is, first of all, don't give up. This is for the people that's not on your level.
Right.
Like, cause you got a lot of people still trying to get here.
Yeah.
But don't get, you know what I'm saying? Don't get discouraged. I mean, everybody's path is different. Like, don't look at your homeboy, your homegirl, and be like, oh man, I should be there. Like, why ain't on? You know, it's like, it ain't your time to be on. It may not even be for you to be in that field. You may be meant to do something else. You know what I'm saying? So don't get discouraged. You know what I'm saying? 2, don't compare yourself to nobody. You know what I'm saying? If this person is doing this, support them if that's really your friend. And keep it moving. And but if you're allowed the opportunity to get on this side, I would say don't lose your hunger. And don't ever box yourself in. Like, you know, I see a lot of guys, you know, women, whatever, shed and trade 8s, trade 4s. I get all that. Like, I totally get it. But at the same time, work on things that's gonna get you a gig. Cause ain't none of us gonna be playing like that behind no artist. You may get your little spot, but after that spot, you back to playing whatever the song is. And most of those songs outside of Show Me What You Got ain't featuring none of us. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, like, you know, figure out ways to play the music but still put your stamp on it. You know what I'm saying? And always be yourself. Like, don't ever, like, you know, I coming up, you know, I came up under certain guys and I would try to sound like them and this and that. Then after a while, it was like, well, this ain't the level I want to be on. So I sound like this person. Let me figure out my sound and then see what happens. Soon as that happened, I start getting calls like, and it don't always work like that. But for me, you know, I was like, I'm just like, be true to myself. You know me, like I used to play for offering. I would be playing R&B grooves.
I already know.
You know what I'm saying? People was laughing at me. I was one of the first dudes to use pads in church. My mom would be preaching. We would do a breakdown. I started playing finger snap. You was there, and people was like, "What is he doing?"
No, this literally, it's like you come to our church, it's like a show.
Oh yeah,
like, you're getting a show.
Definitely.
The choir performs, it's a show.
We was running vocals,
everything, backing tracks, full backing tracks.
For real. But I guess in my mind, I knew that's the level I wanted to do it on. So why not practice where you at? You know what I'm saying? So I think, I mean, just keep grinding, you know, whoever it is. Just, you know, I mean, the main thing is don't get discouraged. You know, and keep practicing. Practice on everything you're not good at. You know what I'm saying? Because then when you do that, exactly.
Like I said, you gotta definitely keep advancing, keep working on the stuff that you're weak at. So, like when that time comes, it's like,
oh, it's a wrap.
Ready.
I used to stay on his case all the time. You wouldn't even tell y'all.
Not too much.
I was like, Mac, what are you doing? I would come back. He'd work on everything I told him to work on. So that's why he's where he is. Not because of me, but I'm just saying, like, if you really want to be pushed.
Yeah, and it's like everybody want to know why I hit hard. They say I hit hard. This is the dude, man.
Right.
I will never forget it. I was at church. I played the service, and he came back. He was like, "Man, you're not hitting hard." He was like, "You gotta hit harder. It's not cutting." So ever since that day, that backbeat just got
you can't
crazy.
hear that in no arena, no stadium.
So,
Like, you gotta bring it. But now I'm proud of you, though, man.
I appreciate you, man.
Thank
you for being here, dog, and just doing this for me, man. And as always, MacBear Apparel is the reason why we're here. You know what I'm saying? We got Rex. He got the crew neck sweatshirt on. I got the classic tee. We're gonna keep trying to, get it to where I want it to be, and just keep grinding, keep taking it to the next level. We got a bunch more guests coming up, and yeah, just stay tuned and keep watching, keep supporting. I appreciate it all, man. And till next time, guys, we out.